Welcome back. We're talking with Amy D about the scientific methods behind happiness. It really is, it's a lot for us to have to say, okay, I'm not going to look at the negative today. I'm going to look at the positives. What happened to me today?
Right.
Even though it's snowing outside, it took longer to get to work. Hey, it's beautiful and white instead of brown and ugly.
Exactly. And that's the key. The key is finding the little positives that happen throughout our day. There's a great story that I'd love to share with you. So this is a story about the gold rush in 1849. And during that California gold rush, it was said that people would pull gold out of the rivers, that the nuggets were so big they couldn't even carry them away. And there was a young merchant in Boston, and he got into the gold rush fever, and so he sold all his possessions, and he went to California to seek his fortune. And he panned for gold, and all he had was this big pile of rocks to show for it after months of panning. And an old prospector walked up to him and he said, "Hey, nice pile of rocks you have there." And the young man said, "Oh, you know what? I've been panning for months. There's no gold in this river." And the old prospector said, "Of course there's gold. You have to know where to look for it." And he picked up two rocks and he crashed the rocks together, and one broke open, and inside were a bunch of gold flakes shining in the sun. And the young merchant looked at the rock, and then he looked at the old prospector, and he had a big bulging bag on his belt full of gold. And the young merchant said, "Yeah, but I want all of the big nuggets that you found during your time of panning for gold." And the old prospector took the bag off and handed it to the young man, and he looked inside, and it was filled with thousands and thousands of little tiny flakes of gold. And the old prospector said, "It seems to me you've been so busy looking for all the big gold nuggets that you have forgotten to see the tiny specks of gold that create a life." And that's the key. The key is that every day we have all of these wonderful things that happen to us, but we kind of let them go by. And we have to savor those moments. So when something good happens to you, you have to keep it in your brain for anywhere between 10 and 20 seconds and make it create an experience for you so that you develop that pathway to look for good.
Can I just call you tonight before I go to
I want her
bed?
to come to my
Anytime.
house
Tell me
and read me
stories.
stories when I go to bed.
Anytime.
That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Very important lessons, though, too. We need to be looking for the good instead of focusing on what others have, too.
Exactly.
So what kind of gold flakes do you have on your website? How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, it's www.amydspeaker.com. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Amy.
Great
Thank
story.
you for having me. Great to be
That's
here.
a wrap. I think we're done for the day.
I'm ready to go home and just look for my gold. But we do have more coming up on today's show, talking more about lighting